Morning, garden friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. I'm super out of breath because I just tilled the hoop house area. Boy, that is no joke. I'm really glad I don't have to do that all the time. This will probably be the only time I ever do it. But I'm glad I did. The soil is great in some places, in other places it's rock hard. So I'm really glad I did that. So now I'm going to rake up detritus and stuff that I don't like. This is Bio 360 film, which is made of corn, and it is biodegradable. So I could technically leave it here, but I just want to neaten it up. Helps my mental process. So I'm going to rake up everything, dispose of it, and then I'm going to remake the beds so that I can then add the compost. That's my job today. It is very hot. It's actually not that hot. It's like 80 degrees outside, but I'm hot. So I'm gonna get a whole lot of water in, and I don't think I'll be putting in a full day out here. It's only 10 o'clock. I think I'm just gonna focus on this part, and we'll leave it at that. Yesterday, I was out here for most of the day, but I didn't film anything. Mostly because I was hopping around from project to project, and it didn't really make any sense. It wasn't cohesive, but I did a lot of work on digging the holes for the sleeves with that digging pole, and I paid the price last night. I woke up in the middle of the night with extreme carpal tunnel pain, and that's gonna happen again tonight because this tiller is ancient. It's probably 40 years old, and you have to hold the stick down in drive while you move it, so you can only steer with one hand, and so you use the rest of your body to do it, and it vibrates a lot. So I think I'm going to pay for that tonight. I'm going to have to do a lot of exercises, a lot of heat and ice to make sure I don't have a painful night, but it's done. So now I'm going to get started on the cleaning up part, which is still work, but a lot easier now that I've tilled. Can you hear it? There's a coyote somewhere in there. It's unusual to hear them during the daytime around here. Usually we hear them at dusk and dawn. Crazy thing about me is I hear that and my first thought is, gosh, I hope everything's okay with that little coyote. Also there's this little snaky over here, beautiful snake. Oh, it looks like it's hiding. Little garter snake, which I was super excited to see. Can't find it now, but the tail, his back, like, I think he's probably only a foot long, maybe. Oh, I don't know, that's just the wind. I think he's maybe only a foot long, but the back, like 4 inches, looks like it might have gotten run over. He's moving around, but I have that like, God, I hope it's not in pain. That just breaks my heart. Animals in pain. Okay, so where I stand now, I've gotten the beds kind of pulled together. That's so funny. He's real close. He or she. Okay, with the bed tops done, there's no compost on them yet, but I've actually leveled them with the rake. They look a lot better. What I'm going to do now is use this thin shovel to pull up the weeds that are still here on the inside baseboard, because they'll just continue to grow. And then I'm going to attach screen to the hip board and baseboard so that when this side is rolled up, nothing can get in because the fence won't come around this area. So this would be a great open door for deer, rabbits, whatever, if we don't have that screen there. So that's what I'm doing next. I'm gonna wait and move compost tomorrow when it's cooler. I mean, it's almost noon. It's like the heat of the day, and I'm already tired. So I'm gonna do something that's a little less intense. I am knackered. This has been a lot of work today. Definitely burned a lot of calories. Okay, so I'll show you what I did. So you can see tilled, beds made, mostly flat tops. Just need 2 inches of compost. The pathways are in, those are gonna need straw. I got rid of as many weeds as I could along this side baseboard wall. There are some places that are just like concrete. I think there's probably stones right underneath that I couldn't get, so I might come in with clippers and just clip them at the base, and I'll just have to keep an eye on these. The screening is not as tight as I had wanted it to be, but it's tight. Like from the outside, you'd have to push pretty hard to get in, and I don't think the deer will, because they'll feel the screen and then they'll stop where they're at. So it's a better barrier than anything else right now. Okay, so it's hot. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go home. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm gonna come out in the early morning hours and start laying compost before it gets too warm. I'm hoping I can get the family to come with me so that maybe we can finish these gate sleeves. I'll show you an update on that real quick. Supposedly this hole is pretty much dug to where it needs to be because this is mostly level with the ground. This is where the pole stops when you slide it in. But I tried putting the pole in and it made the gate super, super tall. So it needs to go a lot deeper. I've been wetting this hole, trying to get it to soften up a little bit to make digging easier. We'll see what happens, but you can see what comes out of the hole, all the gravel. And then over here, this is the progress that I made yesterday, just from digging with the digging pole and then hammering in. Because once you get down a little bit further in this area, it's not as gravelly, but it's still really hard. So I wish there was a way to deal with this that didn't involve having to dig through concrete, but that's the way it is. I mean, I need a gate. I can't not have a gate. And I need it to be a gate that can easily get me into the bed space so that I don't have to wheel a wheelbarrow heavily full of compost through a serpentine maze in order to get to my beds. So we'll get it in. It's just gonna take a lot of elbow grease. And for those of you asking why we didn't just try augering it, we did. All it did was cause the auger to lock up, seize up, and they can be really dangerous when they do that because the top part's still spinning, which means you can get thrown away by the auger handles. So yeah, that ground is that hard. And so I did a whole bunch of research, read a bunch of articles that basically were saying when you're working with the ground that's that hard, people try augers and end up giving up, and most of the time they just have to hand dig it. So that's where we're at. If we have to dig wider holes and cement these poles in, then we will, which I really don't want to do, but that may be the only recourse. So it's just extra work. This is literally the only thing keeping us from putting this fence up. So I am bound and determined to get that done. So I think that's gonna be the main focus tomorrow when I get my strong boys out here to help me. I have been to 5 different hardware stores trying to find 8-foot T-posts. No one has them. So now I'm gonna go a half an hour away to a Lowe's to see if they have them. It's frustrating because I really want to be out at the farm right now working, but this is like top of the list. We've made so much progress, and I will show you that once I get there, how much progress we've made on the fence, as well as the hoop house. The back wall is up. I just need to attach it on the sides, which I'm going to do today, and cut off the bottom. And I was going to try to finish the fencing today, but I can't do that without the T-posts. So, driving to a Lowe's. It's just weird. Everybody's saying, oh, I just can't get them right now. And I don't know why. They can get the 6-foot and the 7-foot and 5 and below, but nobody can seem to get the 8-foot ones. That seems very strange, doesn't it? Anyway, okay. Off to the highway. Okay, after calling around a lot of places, I finally got T-posts. Now, they only had 7-foot. Literally no one had 8 feet, but that's okay. 7 will still work. So before I get to work, let me show you really quick what we've done so far, and then what I still have left to do. Okay, so we started getting the fencing up. So we've got the gate up. There's a lot of space up there, but that's not an issue. Really, the important part, obviously, is down here. So I still need to come through and trim back and tighten down all this stuff so that it's all attached correctly, and there's a lot of tension. But it's the basics are in. Now you see how it overlaps on the bottom? That is by design, because even deer will lift up with their heads anything they can climb under. And so I'm going to put some ground stakes in there and hold it down. These posts are set in. It's ready for the gate. I'm going to put that in today. And we ran the fence almost all the way. It's just that we ran out of T-posts. So I will hopefully finish that today, and then the fence will be done. And then down here, in the hoop house, we have both roll-up sides now are attached and functioning. And we put the back wall up as well. So it's attached at the top with wiggle wire on the outside, but I do need to install wiggle wire on the side posts and cinch that down and then cut off the bottom. And then I have to put netting on this, the lower edge of this roll-up side on the inside so that nothing can come in. So still a bit of work to do, but it's all work I can do myself. I will start laying compost probably tomorrow. I was hoping to get to the transplanting, but that's not going to happen. Mike and I have a wedding to go do down in Southern California, and we're driving. So we're leaving Thursday. We won't be back till Sunday. So 4 days. But if I can get all this buttoned up, the infrastructure, then when I get back, I can transplant. And it'll be just in time to get everything in the ground. Also in time for our Customer Appreciation Day next Saturday. So yeah, I think everything is going to be good. I have so much thanks and gratitude to give to my family. The 3 of them plus Griffin helped get most of this done over the weekend and really removed a lot of my stress. So I still have a lot to do to clean things up, and there's lots of stuff to, lots of compost to move and transplanting to do, but I can do all that next week because I'll have 5 days next week to work. And so that'll be plenty of time to get all of that done. So I'm gonna get to work now, getting the second gate on, and start working on getting the fence done. and it'll feel really nice to get this place completely deer-proof. I don't think I can recommend, unfortunately, the stuff from this fencing company. The instructions were really poorly written. You kind of had to figure it out on your own. And all the parts are different sizes. So every bolt has a different size that you have to have a ratchet for. So if you don't have a good set, you're gonna have a real hard time getting this thing up. Well, I had hoped to get a whole lot more done today, but time's running out. I've got to go get my kids. But I did get some things done, which is good. So I got the gate installed. It opens and closes now. Just needs the fencing. Actually, I got the rest of the fencing put up, so the only thing that needs to be fenced is from this gate to this gate. So not very much. I don't know if you can see back there, but back behind there, I finished up all of the fencing. So now the whole plot is surrounded by fence. So except for this part in the front, which I'll do tomorrow morning. And also tomorrow, I had hoped to do that today, I'm going to attach the sides of the plastic there for the back end wall, and then that'll be done. And I'll put in the screening on the lower half of the roll-up side, just like on the other side. And then we will be deer-proof, at least I hope. I mean, this is a 8-foot tall fence. It overlaps onto the ground by over a foot, so they can't easily dig underneath it or even lift it with their noses to get under. I've got screening on all sides of the greenhouse, the hoop house, as well as a solid plastic wall on the back. So I think once I finish this part tomorrow, we're going to be ready to move all the compost, which has been sitting here for days, and start filling those beds so that then next week I can transplant. Oh, feels like such a long time coming getting to this point. Still yet to come, and one of the things I'm going to use the compost for, I'll show you. This pile of bricks right here is actually to be used as edging around this bed, but also I'm creating a new bed here in between all of the stepping stones. So it's going to be this kind of like triangular bed roughly between the fence and the stepping stones. And it's a pretty large area. It's going to be bordered by those bricks. And in it, for spring, is going to be Magus and bachelor buttons and agrostemma and nigella and all kinds of things that I use as a cutting garden. But it will be just another side border to this, and it's another growing area, but it's gonna have to be super deep compost because this ground is very rocky and hard. I'm not even gonna bother tilling it because the tiller will just scrape the soil. So it's gonna be one of those situations where over time, basically I'm creating a raised bed here. And over time, the soil, the compost and growing things in here will improve the soil underneath and make it softer, and then I can grow deeper rooted things. But it's perfect for annuals, and so that's the other thing I'm doing. And then I'm going to finally install my Bush Poppy Farm sign that it was made a long time ago, and I haven't had a chance to put it up anywhere, but it's gonna go here on my gate. And then I think once I do some cleanup, we're gonna be ready for our Customer Appreciation Day. Thanks so much for joining me. I know this was a cobbled together video over a bunch of different days, and I'm sorry I didn't film a whole lot. Part of it was my mental state. I have found out that they are selling this place, the property. I found out when the real estate agent came to put the sign on. So that was a bit of a shock. I still haven't heard anything from the landowners, and I don't know what that means. If they're going to be able to sell the whole property or what, but the law in California says that a new buyer has to honor our leases, and there's 4 of us leasing here right now, for the length of the lease. I mean, I guess the real estate agent said sometimes they will offer you big sums of money if you will leave, but that's not going to work for me because I have nowhere else to grow. So they can offer me big sums of money, but they're still going to have to give me 6 months or more to find a place to grow. So I don't know how much that's going to help them. So yeah, so all of this work with the notion that I don't know how long we're going to be here. This is not zoned for residential, so it's not like an investor can come in here and put homes up on this 5 acres. It's agricultural zoned. So that's going to limit some of the potential buyers. And the other thing is there are problems with this property, and I think that will also limit some potential buyers, which is one of the reasons why Mike and I wouldn't even consider putting down an offer for this property. Too many issues, too many problems. So yeah, so that kind of threw me for a loop. I've been dealing with that on an emotional level, but my plan is to just continue to move forward like I am, because that's all I can do. I don't have a new place to grow. This is where my farm is, and I'm just going to continue to operate like it's still my farm. If at some point the property does sell and things change, then I'll have to cross that bridge. But for right now, I'm trying to just move forward. Just keep swimming. Okay, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you give me a subscribe if you like this video or this channel. That would be wonderful. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.